Welcome back to another video talking about account features. Account features, we'll be covering cash and margin accounts, how margin account trades work, and breaking down different ways broker dealers charge to do trades. So when it comes to cash and margin accounts, you want to remember with cash accounts, a cash account is the most basic type of investment account. Anyone eligible to open an investment account can open a cash account. In a cash account, a customer pays in full for any securities purchased. Payments is expected by the end of the day on the settlement date. So you want to remember T+1. This is the regular way settlement for cash accounts. T+1. The regular way settlement is an industry standard enforced by the self-regulatory organizations, mainly FINRA, enforced with FINRA mainly. In addition, the federal government has an expectation for timely payments under the Federal Reserve Regulation. So under T payment must occur not later than 2 business days after the standard settlement period. So you want to remember S+2 when it comes to Federal Reserve Regulation T. Regulation T, you want to remember 2 business days after settlement date. S+2. For cash accounts, it's T+1. When it comes to certain accounts must be opened as cash accounts, including accounts that have contribution limits, such as IRAs and other retirement plans, as well as custodial accounts under UTMA are examples of cash accounts. As far as when it comes to margin accounts, trading on margin allows customers to trade larger positions than they could afford to do so otherwise by borrowing either cash or securities through their broker dealers. So there are 2 types of margin accounts. You have long and you have short. In a long margin account, customers purchase securities with borrowed money and pay interest on the money borrowed until the loan is repaid. So connects borrowed money being used to invest with margin accounts. In a short margin account, customers borrow stock and then sell that stock short, enabling the customer to profit if its value declines. All short sales must be made in a margin account, which is using borrowed money or borrowed stocks. This way is called leveraging. So borrowed money or borrowed stocks is called leverage. Stock can be borrowed from several sources for short sales. The most common source is another customer's margin account, but the other customer must give permission by signing a consent to loan agreement. So keep that in mind. Consent to loan agreement. If stock wants to be borrowed from a source such as someone else's margin account, they must give permission with that consent to loan agreement. Margin accounts offer some advantages for customers. So you want to consider that in margin accounts, a few advantages is that a customer can purchase more securities with a lower initial cash outlay. So they can purchase more than what they can actually afford because they could just borrow the difference. It allows them to leverage the investment by borrowing a portion of the purchase price, or leverage increases in the rate of return in the security price if it moves in the direction the customer wants. Now, as there's upsides to margin accounts, there's also downsides. A couple downsides will be, in addition to trading costs, the investor pays interest on the amount borrowed. And leverage will increase the rate of loss if the security price moves against the investor. An investor may borrow up to 50% of the value of their securities. So they can put up half and then borrow the other half when purchasing securities on margin. This number is set by the Federal Reserve Board. And margin loans may also be made against an existing position in a margin account. And here's how margin trades work. There are 3 forms needed to add margin borrowing to an account. You want to remember it would be a credit agreement, a hypothecation agreement, and a consent to loan agreement. A broker-dealer is also required to provide the margin customer with a risk disclosure document. When it comes to credit agreements, you want to remember the credit agreement discloses the term of the credit extended to the customer by the broker-dealer, including the method of interest computations and a description of situations under which interest rates may change. So credit agreement just discloses the term of the credits. And then hypothecation agreements. With hypothecation agreements, it allows the broker-dealer to hold the securities in the account as collateral for the loan, meaning all customer securities must be held in street name. Street name means registered in the name of the broker-dealer when held in a margin account. And then with consent to loan agreement, the consent to loan agreement gives the firm permission to loan the customer's margin securities to other customers or broker-dealers, usually to provide shares for short sales where securities need to be borrowed. And when it comes to fee-based accounts, when you see the term fee-based account on the exam, it is referring to an account in which the customer is charged a regular and ongoing fee for all the trading in the account. Fees may be a set amount that is charged monthly or quarterly. More common is a fee that's based on the size of the account, often based on a percentage of the account's value. This charge is made monthly or quarterly. Fee-based accounts are best for investors that trade frequently, but are not good for investors that take a buy and hold approach to investing. When it comes to commission-based accounts, in a commission-based account, the customer is charged a fee known as a commission for every trade. The commission is charged based on the size of the trade. So with larger trades having a smaller commission as a percentage of the trade. These accounts are better for strategic investors that do not trade frequently. The commission schedule will always be disclosed to the customer at the account's opening. And with wrap fee accounts are accounts for which firms provide a group of services. So wrapping up a group of services altogether, such as asset allocation, portfolio management, executions, and administration for a single fee. So they wrap all those services together for a fee. So wrap fee accounts. The fee may be a set monthly or quarterly amount, but it is most often a percentage of assets under management, AUMs. Wrap fee accounts are generally investment advisory accounts. So this means that the broker-dealer must meet the fiduciary requirements under the Investment Advisors Acts of 1940 and must register as an investment advisor under state or federal law. So you want to remember, with wrap fee accounts, broker-dealers must register as an investment advisor with wrap fee accounts. Among the required disclosures is a statement that the client may be able to get all of the same services on a separate basis for a lower cost. It's also good to remember the difference between solicited and unsolicited trades. So if a representative or a communication from a broker-dealer recommends the purchase of a specific security to a customer, the trade is solicited. So if something the representative or the broker-dealer did led to the customer placing a trade for a specific security, it's probably a solicited trade. Solicited trades must be marked as solicited on the trade ticket, also known as the order form. Marking a solicited trade as unsolicited would be, of course, a regulatory violation. When it comes to discretionary trading, you want to remember, with discretionary trading, a customer may give trading authority to a registered representative to place trades in the customer's accounts without the customer's permission. This is a discretionary trade. Exercising discretion requires specific authorization. Discretionary authority is a type of power of attorney that is granted by the customer to the registered representative. So these trades must be marked as discretionary. Failure to properly mark trades is a violation. So what constitutes a discretionary trade? You remember a few key elements of how to know it's a discretionary trade would be an action to buy or sell, the amount of the trade, and the specific asset to be traded. So you want to remember the 3 A's: action, amount, and assets. These three elements, in addition, when given full control to the representative to determine one of these, would be considered a discretionary trade. Which means if a representative uses their own discretion for one or more of those three A's, action, asset, amount, the trade is a discretionary trade. For a trade to be non-discretionary, the customer must provide all three of the A's before the trade is even entered. Meaning, if a customer decides the action they want to take, if the customer decides the amounts, and if the customer decides what asset they want to invest in, then that's non-discretionary. But the moment a representative decides to pick the action or pick the amount or pick the assets, then that means it is a discretionary account. If the representative decides to choose at least one of those three A's. It's important to note that discretionary trading is allowed as long as proper authorization has been received. So in order for a discretionary trade to be properly entered, the client must agree first, and they must agree in writing to grant a representative discretionary trading authority. Second thing that would need to happen would be a principal of the firm must also in writing approve the discretionary trading authority. Discretionary trades must be approved by a principal promptly after entry. Quickly after entry, discretionary trades must be approved by the principal. A client who chooses to revoke the discretion must also do so in writing. Accounts that allow discretionary trades will be supervised more closely. It's important to remember. Principals will want to make sure the authority is being used in a manner that benefits the customer. So that's why it'll be supervised more closely than accounts that do not have discretionary authority.